And we are back. Welcome to Judgment Day, Part 1 in the UEFA Euro Under-21 Championship. In particularly in Group A, where all 4 teams can still go through and all 4 teams can still be eliminated. This is why we love group stage football when it comes to these sort of tournaments. We love this sort of drama when it comes to crunch time. Obviously, the same can't be said for the other group, as both teams are already through and both teams are already out in that one. But all the action will be taking place in the 5 o'clock kickoffs today. So before we get into my predictions for it, as always, if you have enjoyed this series so far, please make sure you are dropping a like on this video and subscribing to the channel as we continue to do these predictions throughout the tournament. And let's just get straight into it, because the opening matches of the day are in Group A. And we start off with the team that is currently at the top of this group, and that is the host nation's Georgia, who everyone, including myself, gave absolutely no chance of them even considering getting through this group. And they are the team that sit on 4 points, with Belgium and Netherlands on 2 and Portugal on 1. So all Georgia have to do today is avoid defeat in this match, and they will progress into the next round of this competition. They come up against the Netherlands, who have impressed me the most of the teams in this group. I've obviously not actually seen Georgia play yet, but I've seen both Netherlands games, and I feel in both of them they were relatively unlucky not to get the result that I feel they deserved. So very, very interesting game. But we've already seen from Georgia so far in this tournament that, firstly, not only can they mix it with the big teams by getting the victory over Portugal, but they can also deal with adversity as well, going 2-0 down against Belgium and then pulling it back to get that 2-2 draw. So I have to sit here and I have to say that I am within no rights to sit here and say that Netherlands on paper are the better team and they're going to win this game, because form over the last week has shown that they're probably not the better team on paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. It'll be 3 draws in a row for the Netherlands, but it will be the result that Georgia need to secure their qualification to the next round on 5 points. What that does mean is that if we get a winner in the Portugal against Belgium game, they will both leapfrog the Netherlands and secure a spot in the next round as well. If it's a draw, then it will come down to goals scored between the Netherlands and Belgium, because their head-to-head was, of course, also a draw. So a very, very interesting set of circumstances that could be put in play here today. I think, from what I've seen of Portugal and from what I've seen of Belgium in the opening fixtures, I actually still think Portugal are the better team. I think it's going to be a very close-run thing. I think they're obviously going to know what's happening in the other game and how that potentially influences how they perform. Portugal have to win regardless. Belgium could potentially get away with a draw depending on how the other result goes. So, especially if Georgia win, Belgium would only need a draw. So, very interesting dynamics to this game. I'm just going to edge it in Portugal's favour, and I'm going to go for 2-1 to Portugal. That will mean that Georgia would top the group on 5. Portugal would finish the group as runners-up on 4. And that would mean that Portugal would end up playing England in the quarterfinals, because England have already secured their qualification spot as group winners in their group, and they will play the runners-up of Group A. So that would be Portugal against England if the results go this way. That's just the way I see it. I think both games today in this group are so finely poised and very, very well balanced, and I could genuinely see all 3 possibilities in both games. But that's just the way I see it. I think Georgia will do enough to get a point, and I think Portugal will just have a little bit too much for Belgium in their game. On to Group B. We still need to talk about it. There are still 2 games in Group B. Obviously, Spain and Ukraine both won their opening fixtures, meaning they are both already on 6 points, which means that Croatia and Romania are already out. It just comes down to who is going to finish 3rd and 4th and who is going to finish 1st and 2nd. So we'll start with the game which means basically nothing at all. That is Croatia against Romania. Both sides have been absolutely woeful in this tournament so far, and I am very, very, very tempted to go 0-0 as my prediction for this, because neither team have looked like scoring in either of their matches so far. I just hate doing 0-0 predictions. It's just not the way I do things. So I'm going to go for 1-0 to Croatia, which, as one host nation, flies off into the sunset in my predictions. Unfortunately, I'm saying the other host nation just ends up absolutely falling to pieces once again. Like I say, I could definitely see this being 0-0, but I think Croatia will probably just pinch it. The other game does have some significance. Obviously, we know both sides are already through, but there is still a top spot up for grabs. And like we said, if you win the group, it means you play a runner-up from another group in the quarterfinals. So both teams are going to be wanting to win this. Both sides have played very, very well in their opening fixtures. It'll be interesting to see if either side does make changes to their starting lineups, knowing that they've already got through. But like I say, they do need to win this game if they do want to get that top spot. So then it sort of comes down to who I think will have the better team if they play their strongest sides. And in terms of on-field performances, what I've seen, I think Spain will probably just edge it. So I'm going to go for 2-1 to the Spanish. But like I say, Ukraine have been fantastic in their two opening fixtures. They're certainly more than capable of pulling off a result today. I'm just not quite convinced it's going to happen. That will be it for today's video. As always, let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments about what's happened so far in this tournament and your predictions for today's games. Who do you think is going to be the sides progressing from Group A? Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow where we will be discussing Judgment Day Part 2 in Groups C and D. I'll see you then.